City, on the air and over the web. This is Music City Roots, live from the Loveless Cafe. I'm Keith Bilbrey, welcoming you to our weekly radio showcase for the finest roots and Americana music from and passing through Nashville, Tennessee. What a great lineup we've got tonight. Thanks for being with us here in the barn or out there over live radio and on the web. Give yourselves a big round of applause. So it sounds like everybody's ready for some music. Would you agree? And to get that started, I would introduce the gentleman. I have a hard time getting that out for some reason. The gentleman who will be bringing the artist on tonight. Will also be starting the show with a song from his legendary catalog. Please welcome our musical host, Mr. Halloween himself, Jim Lauderdale.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, I think. Thank you.
Sure, buddy.
Well, here's a tune that I wrote with my friend Sean Camp, a super talented guy.
Yeah.
And this is on a bluegrass record of mine called Old Time Angels. And this one is called I Loved Her After All. I kept her waiting long enough while I made up my mind. I wasn't good at making plans. I'd hate to see her cry. I took her to a tavern just to have a drink or two. We ran into a fella who my darling said she knew. I told her she should dance with him, that she'd be better off. But when the dance was through, I knew I loved her after all. Now I'll have to live my life a lonely, broken man. I watched the only love I knew slip right through my hands. She should have what she deserves, not the tears that I made fall. I'm the one who's crying now. I loved her after all. I'm glad she can be happy now, and she is from what I saw. When she walked away with him, I knew I loved her after all. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
It's kind of like almost a sequel to Tennessee Waltz, isn't it? I mean,
I'm not sure what you mean. Thanks,
never mind.
I think.
Never mind. Just think about it.
Folks, let's get back to the script here. Welcome to Music City Roots, everybody, live from the Loveless Barn. We're so glad you could join us this evening. Now, no self-respecting show from Nashville in the golden age of radio was without an MC at the podium. And folks, we have the best there is. Please welcome the golden voice of Keith Bilbrey.
Thank you.
And over here in the chat room, he's going to tell us about our lineup and have a few words with our artists to get the stories behind the songs. Our interview guy, Mr. Craig Havighurst.
Hey guys, hey everybody. Jim, it's good to see you. Keith, welcome to the Loveless. Want to say thanks to the Loveless for hosting our night tonight and for feeding the crew. We appreciate that, obviously. The Southern provided the crew lunch today, and we love the restaurant downtown, the Southern, thanks to them. Jim, that was a mighty country song. It's good to hear a deep country song. And tonight, we've got a little country theme going on. Two artists that I think you'll love, who are kind of on the forefront of today's country music. And by country music, I mean country music. Sturgill Simpson is one of them. Yes, from the great state of Kentucky, playing our show here for the first time. And also from Ontario, guy I've been dying to hear live, love him on record, Daniel Romano. Great suits, too, with him. And we're going to take it a little left to center as well tonight. We've got one of the most fascinating songwriters in the country, getting a lot of attention for her new album, Down Fell the Doves. Amanda Shires is here with her good pal and husband, Jason Isbell, playing some music with her. And we're going to wrap up the night with a band everybody just adores, coast to coast. Leftover Salmon is here.
Yes, sir.
From Colorado. And let's get started with something kind of unusual as well.
Well, folks, we admire musical courage and vision here at Roots, and the next artist just embodies those qualities. Based in Asheville, North Carolina, he's taken the underexplored but beautiful sound of the Caribbean steel pans into new frontiers. Influenced by jazz, rock, folk, and hip-hop. He's earned the respect of his idols, and he's finding exciting new audiences. Please welcome to the stage the Jonanthan Scales Forchestra.
Thank you guys very much. Once again, we're the Jonanthan Scales Orchestra from Asheville, North Carolina. We're called the Orchestra, even though there's only 3 of us. One quick story before we go on. In case you haven't been able to tell from what we do so far, my biggest influence is Bela Fleck. You guys know Bela Fleck, of course. The way he takes the banjo out of its normal context and does something a little different with it. And to make a long story short, I used to stalk him in my early days. And it got to the point where he knew me from stalking him. And I would show up early to his shows. He would see me, and he would just say, "Lurkin'," and go the other way. Get on the tour bus. He would see me, he would say, "Lurkin'," and he would just leave me hanging. So I wrote this next tune for Bela Fleck, in the style of Bela Fleck, and it's called Lurkin'. And it also features Phil Bronson on the 1x6 piece of wood here. Thank you guys very much. We have one more short one for you guys. Before we go, I want to play a quick game with you guys. It's a game we play every night. Whether there are 800 people or whether there are 8 people, we play the same game every night. So when I introduce these fine young gentlemen, the levels of fineliness and gentlemanliness vary from individual to individual. I want everyone to give us your best Nashville, Tennessee welcome. This is our 15th day on the road, back to back. So very nice to be here with you guys. So let us feel the love for a second. On the bass from Charlottesville, Virginia, Cody Wright. That was pretty good. That was decent. That was all right. On the drums from Spartanburg, South Carolina, please make welcome Phil Bronson.
All right, last but not least on the steel pans, the composer of all the music that you're listening to tonight. He resides in Asheville, North Carolina, and he has the most beautiful blue eyes that you have ever seen. The one and only Jonanthan LaRue Scales.
All right, we have one more for you, and we'll be on our way. This next one's a tune that we wrote together that we like to be like a symphony orchestra in this one where we have to play the same part every single time, so it's very hard for us. Every note you're going to hear on the bass, every note you're going to hear on the drums, all meticulously written between the 4 of us. This is called Specifically. Thank you guys very much. We're the Jonathan Scales Orchestra from Asheville, North Carolina. Cody Wright on the bass. Phil Brunson on the drums. My name is Jonathan Scales on the steel pans. We'll see you guys later. Thank you very much.
The Jonathan Scales Orchestra. Amazing. The Jonathan Scales Orchestra, everybody. Wow. That's unbelievable. Woo! Well, folks, don't forget the Music City Roots is now on public television. A 1-hour show airs here in Nashville on NPT Channel 8 at 7 p.m. Tune in or set your DVRs. Now, that's Friday nights. Now, the shows that we're filming right now will air this fall in season 2. For a listing of PBS affiliates around the country that carry our show, go to musiccityroots.com/APT. Now, Keith, I'd hate to lecture you on things.
A man with a chicken leg in his hand should never lecture anybody.
Want to lecture you, but doggone it, Keith Bilbrey, don't you ever compare one of my songs to some other tune. Especially in front of the audience.
You went to a dance. You
Don't
lost
you
okay.
ever.
All right.
And again.
You eat a lot when you get angry, don't you? I've noticed it.
Thank you. Thank you, I think.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Well, you know, folks, when people around the world think of Tennessee, first things come to mind are, of course, great music. We've got that around here. Great food. Well, obviously, Jim has found his favorite. And plenty of that around the Loveless Barn. And, of course, what else? Moonshine. Lift that glass high, Myra. Big hand for Myra. Boy, she has got her part down so good. I mean, right on script, right on time. That's why we're so thankful for our friends and sponsors at Old Smoky Moonshine, Tennessee's first legal moonshine, distilled in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, right there in the heart of the Smokies. Now, whether you're enjoying some of their classic White Lightning or tossing a couple of moonshine-soaked cherries in your Coke, they remind you to always shine responsibly. Old Smoky's now available nationwide through your local package store. Here in the barn, the Old Smoky Lightning Lemonade is a big hit on a summer night. And if you want to find out more, we'll just go to oldsmokymoonshine.com. Make sure to like Old Smoky Moonshine on Facebook. Now, we're going to head over to the Griffin Technology chat room. Griffin Technology is one of the world's foremost creators of accessories for home, mobile, and personal technology. There is Craig Haverhurst.
Thanks, Keith Bilbrey. Folks, a special treat. Last time Leftover Salmon visited us, we spoke with Vince Herman and Drew Emmett, who've been in the band a long, long, long time. Tonight, though, we're going to talk to two of the other members of the band, a little newer to the band, but one veteran and one very new member. Alwyn Robinson is here on the drums, and Andy Thorne, the banjo player. Say hey to them. Welcome, fellas. Andy, you've been in the band some years now and found your niche as the banjo player. But I want you to tell the story of the banjo as it relates to Leftover Salmon because it's so central to the way the band evolved and even got started.
Right. They had their original banjo player, Mark Van, was much loved in the community. Drew had one band called the Left Hand String Band that was more of a bluegrass band, and Mark Van played banjo in that. Vince had a Cajun band called the Salmon Heads, and they came together for a show when some certain members of the bands couldn't show up, and it was a combination of bluegrass and Cajun. And somehow that's still what the band is kind of doing.
Mark Van died of cancer as a young man. It was a real tragic loss for the whole community. And the band did keep going there in the short term. I think Noam Pikelny was the next banjo player in Leftover Salmon.
Had to follow up many good banjo players.
Yeah, that's all on you. Noam is now with Punch Brothers and won the Steve Martin Banjo Prize and is truly one of the great musicians of our time.
Yeah.
Then how did you get connected and did you have a traditional basis and want to dive into this kind of slightly more left of center stuff, or were you already going there as a stylist?
I definitely started playing banjo a little more traditional, but I was probably itching to have a project to experiment a little bit more in. And I first started doing the Emmett Nershi band with Drew and Bill Nershi. We've been here. And started to be able to branch out with longer improvs in that. And then now is the pinnacle of that. we kind of do whatever spontaneously happens at the moment. So you can really just improv and jam, have fun.
Right. Owen, you said you've been in the band about 6 months?
Yes, correct. It's going on 6 months now.
Tell us a little bit about your background, where you're from, and what you were doing on drums prior to this band.
I'm originally from Texas. I grew up playing classical music and studying jazz as well. I did my undergrad studies at Texas Tech University, where I studied classical music and performed in jazz ensembles and orchestral ensembles as well. And so my background towards bluegrass music prior to joining this band is nowhere. I mean, it was non-existent at the time.
Have you found it to be a bit of a jazz band, though?
In a sense, because I'm still driving the band with the rhythm, and it definitely gives me the opportunity to sit behind the wheel. But at the same time, it's definitely a different form of music, so you have to appreciate the background and the history of that style of music and figure out how I can make my musical attributes fit in.
Have you found that, like, the bluegrass beat, is pretty straight up? It's bam, bam, boom, bam, boom, boom, chick, boom, chick. You're going to be a drummer who's going to want to do something more unusual and more interesting, more syncopated, mixing it up. Have you found yourself influencing the band in that way, a little more polyrhythm, a little bit, and are they kind of meeting you halfway and going, that is a great direction?
Yeah, I think it's more amongst the lines of meeting halfway, because there's already so much syncopation going on as there is between the string instruments.
Got a banjo going, yep.
Yeah, and then all I'm doing is complementing that. I'm not necessarily taking away from that or trying to add too much, but rather giving my 2 cents to the conversation and trying to find a way to blend in.
Right. Andy, how's it working out with your new drummer? You can say it right in front of everybody.
Luckily, it's working out really great, and we're really glad that being in our band made him lose his scholarship to college briefly.
That won't
so
do
now
it
he's
all.
stuck with us.
Y'all have a current album called Aquatic Hitchhiker, which you were just releasing when you last visited a year and change ago, almost 2 years ago.
Right.
And that's been out there, and y'all have been touring on it. But now you're releasing more singles-based stuff. Tell me about what you're doing in the recording studio right now.
Well, our manager lives in Denver, and he's good friends with some of the Breckenridge Brewery guys based there. And they were kind of having lunch one day and figured out that we should try to release some songs through Breckenridge Brewery. So we have these coasters that each one has a piece of art on it and a download code on the back. So if you buy a Breckenridge Brewery 12-pack, you get a coaster inside and can download our music. So there's 4 songs going out with that. We're going to play some of them today.
All right.
And we actually recorded about 10 songs, though, in that session. We're going to do another session and make a whole album out of it.
I see. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Great. And you get to be a part of that. Killer.
Yes, hopefully so. Hopefully so.
Great. Well, we'll enjoy seeing you at the end of the show. Always enjoy having leftover salmon in the house. Leftover salmon, everybody. It's going to be good. Alwyn and Andy, thank you so much. Center stage, it's looking a little like Halloween out there. Tinkerbell's here. Allie Sutton.
Hey everybody, Mr. Pan, it's time for a word from our sponsor, Vietti Chili. Vietti Chili, Vietti Chili. Tasty, hearty, read that label. Put some on your dinner table. Watch smiles go round. Vietti Chili, Vietti Chili, Vietti Chili. Chili mac or top with cheddar. Louisiana's even better. Watch smiles go round. Vietti Chili. Allie Sutton here, your Vietti Chili girl, reminding you to pull the tab and feel the love. Vietti love, that is. Vietti Chili, Vietti Chili. Tasty, hearty, read that label. Put some on your dinner table. Watch the smiles go round. Vietti Chili, Vietti Chili. Hey! Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Pan, for your lovely assistance. And now it's time to get back to the show with the one and only Mr. Jim Lauderdale.
Well, thank you, Allie Sutton. And Travis Stinson over there, it's so refreshing to see a guy bravely embrace his Peter Pan principle, that so many of us guys have. But, folks, country music at its best is the language of wounded hearts and searching souls. And the grand tradition of this great genre are alive in the music of our next guest. Over 3 albums so far, this fellow from across the border in Welland, Ontario, has shown an ever-growing flair for weary blues and honky-tonk cheer. Here making his Music City Roots debut is Daniel Romano.
Yes, I know it's really not my place to worry, but you got too close, you got too close to me. And now I've gotta tell you that I've never been more disappointed. I've gotta show you every time you fall behind, it breaks my heart. So it's time somebody got hard on you. Yes, it's time somebody got hard on you. That's Mr. Aaron Goldstein on the Sad Machine. Well, it's not for you, but it's for the ones that love you. Me, I'm not good, but I love the ones that do. And yes, I know it's really not my place to change it, but I got too close, I got too close to you. And now I've gotta tell you that I've never been more disappointed. I've gotta show you every time you fall behind, it breaks my heart. So it's time somebody got hard on you. Yes, it's time somebody got hard on you. It's time somebody got hard on you. Yes, it's time somebody got hard on you. Thank you very kindly. Please put my heart where no one else will find it. I don't want it in my chest, and you don't want it in your hands. But please sell my ring to the pawn shop on the corner. Spend the money on a love that you can stand. Only you could find a place where it never can be traced. You can't see the light of day or get in anybody's way. So please put my heart where no one else will find it. I've got no use for it now that you're gone. Well, I try my very hardest as I coast through the day. I step out in the town and I go on my way. But when I come home to the bed where we both used to lay, I know I'll never rest easy until I sleep in my grave. 'Cause I'm a two-pillow sleeper, and everyone knows it's one for my sore head and one where you used to go on that catches the teardrops that fall from my face, and one right beside me to lie in your place. Yes, there's one right beside me to lie in your place. Thank you very much. This next song is about male enhancement drugs. I didn't know what I could do. There's just no way of loving you. It weighed so heavy on my mind. Can't keep my woman satisfied. I told my doctor, since you left, man, I was got laying to rest. He said we all get low sometime, but I can bring you back to life if you see Alice. Tell her I'm ready to go. I took pills for my courage and wine for my mind, and my pride is starting to show. Well, I ain't been up in, I don't know, 35 days or so, my Lord, it makes a man feel low. But then the doctor said, get out of bed, I got you something good to go straight to your head. If you see Alice, tell her I'm ready to go. Have you seen her hanging around with them younger boys in town? Keeping busy with them all, even though I'm standing tall. I took too many, and now I'm sick. So send her loving double quick, 'cause there ain't no blood left in my brain. So boys, before I go insane, if you see Alice, tell her I'm ready to go. I took pills for my courage and wine for my mind, and my pride is starting to show. Well, I ain't been up in, I don't know, 35 days or so, Lord, it makes a man feel low. But then the doctor said, get out of bed, I got you something good to go straight to your head. If you see Alice, tell her I'm ready to go. If you see Alice, tell her I'm ready to go. Thank you very much. just because it doesn't seem to hurt me, just because I never speak my mind. When I'm gone, you think I'm gone without you, and that I leave all my love behind, just because I never wanna face it, just because I never speak my mind. When we're close, you feel that you're much closer, and that my eyes can no longer cry. But you never know by the sound of my voice. You couldn't tell by the clothes that I wear. But if you look a little closer at me, you'll see there are lines in my face that don't come from spite. Just because I can't remember everything, just because it seems that I'm coasting by. When I smile, it only makes you sorry. And when I'm here, it only means goodbye. But you never know by the sound of my voice. You couldn't tell by the clothes that I wear. But if you look a little closer at me, you'll see there are lines in my face that don't come from spite. Thank you very kindly, folks. We got one more number left. This is a special treat for all of you, and a little bit of a treat for us as well. It's a standard. It's a classic. Anybody here drive tonight? Anybody drive here tonight? Yes. This one's for you then. Who did you say it was, brother? Who was it fell by the way? When whiskey and blood run together, did you hear anyone pray? I didn't hear nobody pray, dear brother. I didn't hear nobody pray. I heard the crash on the highway, but I didn't hear nobody pray. Play it, Cole. Make them feel welcome, folks. Make them feel welcome. Came a long way. When I heard the crash on the highway, I knew what it was from the start. And I went to the scene of destruction, and a picture was stamped on my heart. There was whiskey and blood all together, mixed with glass where they lay. Death played her hand in destruction, but I didn't hear nobody pray. I didn't hear nobody pray, dear brother. I didn't hear nobody pray. I heard the crash on the highway, but I didn't hear nobody pray. Forgive me. I wish I could change a sad story that I'm now telling you, but there's no way I can change it, and somebody's life is now through. Their soul's been called by the master. They died in a crash on the way, and I heard the groans of the dying, but I didn't hear nobody pray. I didn't hear nobody pray, dear brother. I didn't hear nobody pray. I heard the crash on the highway, but I didn't hear nobody pray. I didn't hear nobody pray, dear brother. I didn't hear nobody pray. I heard the crash on the highway, but I didn't hear nobody pray. Thank you very much, everybody.
Hey, hey, that's Daniel Romano. Mighty fine, thank you. Daniel Romano, everybody. Guys, y'all are welcome here anytime. Thank you so much. It's great. Daniel, it's fantastic. Hey, Keith.
Yes, sir.
By the way, I know that you paid a lot to an expensive makeup person from the TV show Nashville. You hired them to do the special makeup job on you for Halloween.
You weren't supposed to tell that, but
to
yeah, I
have
did.
these chiseled good looks of some matinee idol. And
Yes.
Anyway, they did a great job, didn't they, ladies and
How'd it work?
gentlemen? I'll tell you
How'd it
what.
work?
So,
How'd it work?
but I still miss the old Keith too, because it doesn't matter how handsome you are on the outside, Keith. I like the the inner Keith Bilbrey, too. Don't you, ladies and gentlemen? Don't you just, you know?
They don't know me that well.
Well, folks, I'll tell you what now. In all seriousness, we really want you to join our community here. Would you join our community here
Please.
at Music City Roots?
Community.
Well, you know, all you got to do is get on Facebook, Twitter, and you can subscribe to our Music City Roots YouTube channel, which is about to pass 6 million views.
Wow, that's a
Wouldn't you
lot
like
of
to be the
zeros.
6 millionth?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's all possible. And so, you know, just join up and we'll notify you whenever new videos are posted. It's a win-win-win. Win, Keith.
Situation.
Win.
Win. By the way, I've been meaning to ask you this. I do Facebook, but I'm not that familiar with all the technical things. Like, I like you, right?
Yeah, I like you too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But when I like you, does that infer any obligation to you? Like, do I have to bail you out of jail or take care of your debts? Or, I mean, is there any legal obligation in liking somebody?
With me, yes.
Oh,
With-
okay.
If you
I
like
just
me.
wondered.
Here's Keith Bilbrey,
There's
ladies
going to be
and
a big case someday about that. I don't know. Big thanks to the good folks at Star 129 Diamond. There's a special occasion coming up in your life that demands the very best. You owe it to yourself to see what we think is the most significant advancement in diamond cutting technology since in almost 100 years. See the amazing Star 129 Diamond for yourself at select fine jewelers all over the country. And here locally in Nashville, go see Bob Forster down at Forster's Diamond Outlet at their beautiful showroom on Hickory Hollow Parkway. You'll love it. Or just take a look at star129.com. Now, this is a diamond created by Bob Forster from Diamond Outlet. You'll be amazed at the patented technology they've used to create a diamond guaranteed to come with the industry's highest rating for sparkle. Would also like to thank our friends at the Nashville Scene. If you want to know what's happening in and around Music City, do what we do. Just look for a fresh copy at local newsstands every Thursday or visit NashvilleScene.com. Griffin Technology is proud to be a part of Music City Roots and privileged to make the gear you need to power, play, protect, create, and connect to the music that means the most to you. That's why their slogan is Connect to Play. And it's kind of his slogan, too. Craig Haverhurst.
Let's do it. Folks, please say hey and thanks one more time to Jonathan Scales.
Thank you.
Back from the great city of Asheville, North Carolina. Asheville still suiting you as a home? Good music base?
Yeah, Asheville's a great place.
Yeah.
Glad to be there.
What drew you there? How do you feel like you fit into that community? It's a pretty diverse music town.
It is, but I feel like Asheville is a place where, you know, you're allowed to kind of do what you want to do and kind of, it's a good place to cultivate your craft, whatever it is. So it's a very accepting place for that.
Can you give us a little orientation to the steel pans, kind of how it's laid out when you've got one hand on one side, one on the other, but you cross over sometimes? I gather it sounds like it's got, no shortage, like it's got every note in the scale. You're not lacking. It's not tuned to one kind of key.
It has about maybe almost 3 octaves, I would say. And the difference between the drums that I play and a piano, for example, is on a piano you have chromatically all the notes in a row.
In a row in a sequence.
On mine, I have half of the notes. I have every other note on this side, and then every other note on the other side, and they're kind of mixed up in between that. So the style of drums that I play are called the double seconds, and it's a little complicated. It's like if you took a piano, threw it up in the air, and all the keys landed in random places, and you tried to play it, it would be like.
Yeah, you've got to remember where those notes are.
You got to remember where all the notes are.
Because they're not in any intuitive.
It's not very intuitive. No.
Man, that's crazy. I imagine that there's steel drums that are just an all-in-one. You chose to play 2. Are there guys that play 10? I mean, how does that work?
Well, steel drums are like instruments in an orchestra. So there's the single drum that we call the lead drum or the tenor pan. All the notes are in one. Mine's kind of like the alto voice, where I have 2 drums. And there's drums that have 3 drums, and those are called cello pans, guitar pans. There's also bass, which is 6 full barrels.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, this originally came from banging out the bottoms of like abandoned oil drums.
Yeah,
and
55-gallon drums.
Yeah.
Yeah, from Trinidad.
You seem to stop at schools frequently when you're on tour. And do you feel like it's part of your mission just to kind of explain what this instrument is and get consciousness raised about it?
That's a good question. I don't feel like it's part of my mission per se, but it has fallen onto my shoulders in a way, and I'm very happy to take that on. So I like to let people know about the instrument because a lot of people think that it comes from Bahamas or Hawaii or something random like that.
Okay, yeah.
But like tell people that it comes from Trinidad. It's one of the only acoustic instruments made in modern century, things like that. So we like to educate people as much as we can.
So you've told me before how you picked the instrument up in college and sort of surprised yourself and somebody encouraged you to give it a try and it spoke to you. And now at this point, having been a few years into being a band leader and touring, how does it feel? How does it work to be doing something so unique? You've got to describe your thing to everybody that you want to book with. But once they get it, it's great to be that different.
Yeah, so being different, to me, I'm not setting out to do that, And like I said, Bela Fleck's a big influence on me, but it was more like the influence of, it's okay for me to do this, something different, because Bela did something different or something like that, So I don't really put too much thought into us being that different. We just try to show up and try to fit in the best that we can wherever we go. I don't put too much thought into trying to be different, but, that is part of my job description, is to try to fit us into
It sort of
places
works
like
out
this,
when you're playing steel pans in a jazz trio. So the current record, a very new record, is called Jonathan Scales Orchestra.
Yeah, self-titled album.
And just before we go, just give a word about that and yeah.
Okay, we got a new album that came out in April, and it features a couple special guests, such as Victor Wooten on the bass from Bela Fleck and the
Bela's
Flecktones,
band.
and also Howard Levy, the great harmonica player from Bela's band. We stole a couple of his guys
Very nice.
for this album, and we just released it on Rope-a-Dope Records out of Philadelphia. So, and we have those today, and if the studio audience wants to check that out.
They're going to be for sale out there. Jonathan Scales, thanks for coming by one more time.
Thanks for having us.
Always
Thank
a
you.
pleasure to catch up on what you're doing. Over there, Keith Bilbrey.
Well, you're listening to Music City Roots on Nashville's Hippie Radio, WHPY, Bellevue, Nashville, 94.5 on your FM dial. And, of course, we're broadcasting live from the big old barn out behind the world-famous Loveless Cafe at the intersection of Highway 100 and the historic Natchez Trace Parkway. For more than 30 years, the Loveless Cafe has been shipping out those delicious preserves and country smoked meats you always hear us talk about. This year, think about giving someone something downright tasty with a gift from the Loveless Cafe. You can go online and view their new catalog of gift baskets at catalog.lovelesscafe.com. By the way, if you need a place for your company Christmas party, well, consider the Loveless Barn. It's a great facility. You can even add on a tent and cater a special party on a Music City Roots night. Make sure to get in touch for holiday and your holiday fun this year. Jim, I have a question for you.
Anything, Keith?
This is our learning experience on Music City Roots.
right.
Tell me, tomorrow's Halloween, which ghost can dance the best? Which ghost is the best dancer?
The ghost and Mrs. Muir?
No, the boogeyman.
Keith.
I thought it was funny.
That's good. You're incorrigible. You know that?
Well, now you know. I mean, what?
You're incorrigible.
Incorrigible, yeah.
Yes.
Go look that up. Here's Jim Lauderdale.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's keep it country, shall we?
Yes, yes, yes.
Well, this time with an artist who's merging his own Kentucky heritage with a dose of Bakersfield twang and a keen ear for the best Nashville songwriting from the golden age of the 1960s. But his star is rising right now with adoring words from seasoned country music writers. They like what they're hearing from this guy, and so will you. Please welcome Sturgill Simpson.
Thank you very much. You could have told me you didn't care about me. You could have told me you was a cheating kind. I'd be out on the town running around, seeing what else I could find. Instead of sitting here without you and with you on my mind. I'm all alone here tonight, and I know you ain't coming back to me. There's a moon over me so bright, for the lights of my sorrow for everyone to see. You could have told me you tell nobody how I cried. Well, it's written on my face, 'cause I know that they're stealing all the sweet, sweet kisses from all the mother guys. Well, you could have told me you didn't care about me. You could have told me you was cheating kind. I'd be out on the town running around, seeing what else I could find. Said hell without you with home of mine. I'd be out on the town running around, seeing what else I could find. Said hell without you with home of mine. Thank you very much. Say that looks can be deceiving. There's been rumors going around. One look at me is the same thing as believing. Everything you've heard without hearing a sound. So if my eyes remind you of water in a well, it's 'cause your heart is stone. I know sometimes it can't seem like my mind belongs to a child that's grown. Somewhere between you and me, I've lost my way tonight and trying to get back home. Trying like hell, but it's too soon to tell. Our love has all dried up like water in a well. Lord knows I've tried to move on, get you out of my mind. Yeah, but you find your way here on my song. Every memory I can manage to find. Someday if I'm standing on some big old stage, you're down in the crowd, trying to tell friends, Lord, I used to know him when. But in your heart, you know it ain't true somehow. Trying like hell, but it's too soon to tell. Our love has all dried up like water in a well. Well, I know you see what it's doing to me. I'm up here playing my part in this nobody town. I won't be round this old town anymore for a long, long time. Gonna hit some road, start looking for the end of the long white line. Gonna hit some road, start looking for the end of that long white line. Oh, I woke up, my baby was gone. Without her, don't need no home. Gonna hit the road, start looking for the end of that long white line. Gonna hit the road, start looking for the end of that long white line. Went to the bank, get my dough. I don't care where I go. Gonna push that rig till I push that girl out of my mind. If somebody wants to know what's become of this so-and-so, tell them I'm somewhere looking for the end of that long white line. Tell them I'm somewhere looking for the end of that long white line. If somebody wants to know what's becoming of this so-and-so, tell them I'm somewhere looking for you in the long white line. Tell them I'm somewhere looking for you in that long white line. I won't be found in this old town anymore for a long, long time.
Thank y'all. We love you. Thank y'all very much. There's a little thing called Railroad of Sin. Well, they say you left and learned, but it really seems more to me like all along I've been learning how to live. Well, for years I've been drifting like a boat lost out at sea. I've been out walking the ties on the railroad of sin. Well, I'm looking back at my life, some of the things I've done makes me want to hang my head in shame. I was a no good, no kind, low down heartbreaker on the railroad of sin. Was a high-balling train. I'm just a home and begging, stealing borrow, just to leave all lonesome in the wind. I'm just a hitchhiker on 'cause when she's rolling slow, don't make a sound. I got the throttle 10 on the railroad, sin going on for the rails. Can't slow it down. I'm just home and back and still tomorrow. Just a leaf on lonesome midway. I'm just a head talking road and on highway sorrow. There's a high-balling train on that railroad of sin. Oh, I'm just home and back and still tomorrow. Just a leaf on lonesome midway. I'm just a head talking road and on highway of sorrow. I'm just a high-balling train on that railroad of sin.
Thank you. Mr. Lowry Yormitz, we call him Little Joe on the guitar. Back here behind me on the drums from Versailles, Kentucky, Mr. Miles Miller. And on the bass guitar on my left side, Mr. Kevin Black. My name is Sturgill Simpson. I'm from Jackson, Kentucky. Y'all been great. We love you very much. Don't give up hope.
I'm looking out the window at the rainy night, it's driving me crazy. Well, it's just so cold inside, all the warmth is gone without my baby. Well, in my mind something stirs and my lips keep crying out your name. While I'm sitting here wondering where you are, Lord, and listening to the rain. Well, beating on the window can't compare to the beat in my heart taking. Well, the window's gonna hold the book and mean I'm already breaking. Well, these memories tugging at my heart, it's gonna break beneath the strain. While I'm sitting here wondering where you are. Oh, now listening to the rain. Some new love. But I Lord knows I've tried to block it out, but all I see is him and you, love. Well, knowing that might be true, it's the thing that's causing all the pain. While I'm sitting here wondering where you are. Holding out and listening to the rain. While I'm sitting here wondering where the world you are.
All right. Sturgill Simpson. That was great. Thank you, my friend. Sturgill Simpson. Wonderful. Now that's country music.
Woo! How about that guitar player?
Well, I'll tell you what. I think it's time to invite our buddy the Colonel up on stage.
The Colonel Littleton is in the house. And tonight, You have another beautiful giveaway. What is that called there, Colonel?
Rambler.
A Rambler.
A Rambler.
I thought that was a car. Oh,
Well, it is. Let's see. Let me read the card and make sure I'm right. The Rambler handbag.
The Rambler handbag.
That's right.
I like that, what is that, alligator?
Alligator.
cream?
That's
Yeah.
right. American alligator, too. The best stuff. Who's here for the first time tonight? First timers. Whoa!
Welcome.
They're everywhere. Good to have you here. All right. What you got to know is we're going to give away this Colonel Littleton handbag before the last song tonight. It doesn't cost you anything. We're not going to turn your name in to the IRS. I'm just a nice guy. I'm going to draw your name out of a box here, and you can win a $685 handbag. It's that simple. But it's like a horse race. If you ain't got a horse in the race, you ain't going to win. If you don't want your name in the pot, you ain't going to win. Fill this out, carry it over and turn it in. Check the box. We'll send you a catalog. That's all I can tell you. Go do it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You'll enjoy looking through the catalog if nothing else. Well, you know, you have options where you choose to conduct your financial business. As a not-for-profit financial cooperative, Ascend Federal Credit Union recognizes the importance of member loyalty. That's why they're pleased to once again reward members who bring the majority of their business to the credit union by returning $8 million in bonus dividends and loan interest funds. Over the past 7 years, Ascend's returned more than $39 million to its members. To learn more about Ascend, visit them at ascendfcu.org. Federally insured by the NCUA, membership is limited. And if you don't have credit union membership available at your work, you can always join the Nature Conservancy and ask for details at your local Ascend office. The Tennessee chapter of the Nature Conservancy is 35 years old this year. And just what have they got to show for all of it? Yeah, give them a big hand. And here's what you're applauding. 280,000 acres protected right here in Tennessee. 29 state natural areas. We've got 10 wildlife management areas, 2 national wildlife refuges, all in Tennessee. The Nature Conservancy protects nature not only for its own sake, but also because nature sustains our health and our way of life. The trees that clean our air and the rivers that supply our drinking water and so much more. Visit nature.org/Tennessee to learn more about what the Nature Conservancy is doing for you and for nature here and around the world. Now it's time to go back to old nature boy himself, Craig Haverhurst, over in the chat room.
I resemble that remark. Thank you, Keith Bilbrey. Folks, one more time for Daniel Romano. Let's have a word with him. Great set, great set. I've been loving getting to know your music here in the last few months, and just give us a little sketch of your background as you got into serious country music. What came before, and what inspired this genre?
I grew up with country music, and then kind of delved into the punk rock for a little bit in my teenage years.
As one does.
As one does. And then when the rebellion was over, it just made the most sense to go back to the thing that made the most sense. And it's the easy. I mean, I love writing country music, and I love listening to country music, and it's pretty much all I do. So it just was natural, always natural.
And when you say you grew up around it, family band or community?
There's still a family band.
No kidding, great.
But mostly my grandparents actually were the sort of straight country listeners. My folks were more into the sort of folk rock or whatever you might call it. But it's all in there. So it's a good song's a good song. That's mostly what I'm interested in.
Right. So Welland, Ontario, is that your hometown where you grew up?
Yeah.
And this is right near Niagara Falls kind of zone, real close to the border.
Yep.
So you're getting a little Canadian culture, American culture kind of blurred together.
Grew up really close to Buffalo, New York.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything special about that area
Pizza.
from the point of view of, pizza?
Yeah, chicken wings.
I'll check it out and make sure I go. Like radio stations that were just kicking, or clubs, or did you have to kind of?
We had country morning radio for a while I was growing up, and then it turned into a rock station.
All right.
No, not really. I mean, there's like weird sort of like, there's weird saloons and things that are kind of like a weird pathetic homage, but not really.
And where are you based out of now? Where's home?
Still in Welland.
You still are? Okay, great. Loyal to the hometown.
Yep, sticking it out.
Talk about some of the other groups you've been in. You had a list of interesting projects.
Yeah. Well, I used to be in a band called Attack in Black with actually my brother's a drummer, Ian. He was in the band, and also Spencer, who was playing acoustic guitar. That was sort of it started as a punk band, and then it became sort of a folkier.
Okay.
I don't know.
But that's interesting that you've had the journey's been with these guys.
Yeah.
That's terrific.
Yeah, definitely. Well, my brother especially, obviously. We grew up with the same things going on.
Okay. So the current record is called Come Cry With Me. It's pretty much the third full-length LP in the country way. How would you introduce that to somebody if you were to hand it to them? What's your...
I would say just it's straight country, mostly ballads. And it's super, super good.
I love If You See Alice. I'm definitely going to be telling my friends about that one. That's new terrain for the country songwriter.
Yeah, that's right.
Also, fantastic wardrobes, I've got to say. Every time we see you, it's something spectacular. Do you have to bankroll all this, or do you lease? Where do you source this stuff?
I'm hoping I can write it off. I haven't dealt with that yet. But I have a friend. Let's say I have a friend, and she used to work at the Hank Snow Museum out in Nova Scotia and picked up some tricks and tips, and she's quite talented. So
very impressive.
Yeah.
I'm glad I mentioned Hank Snow in the blog.
Yeah.
I think anybody would recognize that touchstone.
Totally.
And just finally, I got to point out that you're a leather worker too. You're an illustrator and a leather worker, and you apparently made your own Telecaster's guitar cover.
Yeah.
That's pretty beautiful.
That was a pain to do.
It was a pain. Tell us about the creative process. It was horrible.
Yeah, pretty well.
Well, you're obviously very good at it. Many talents. Thanks for being here, man.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yeah, hope to see you again. Daniel Romano, everybody. Exciting stuff. Jim Lauderdale.
Folks, the spotlight shining on our next artist has grown brighter and hotter in the last few years as she's weathered some storms, found the love of her life in a fellow roots music star, and made her own deeply original music. Beloved of folk and rock music fans and critics, she's offering a fresh and fascinating twist on the Texas songwriting tradition. And her current album, Down Fell the Doves, is a thing of elusive beauty. Please welcome Amanda Shires.
He's He overturned the silver fountain. Now its waters running mud and ruined all reflection and ruined my love. My love, my love. Down fell the dust, gray-eyed and flightless. Down fell the dust. Oh, what a mess he's made. Oh, what a mess he's made. Yeah. That was fun. My name is Amanda Shires. To my left is Stephanie Dickinson on the bass. Not only is she beautiful and talented, but her bass wears a cape. Superhero bass. To my right is Jason Isbell on the acoustical guitar. We're real happy to be here. Your eyes are storms. I can see the spirals forming. It's her. She's roaring blue, crossing your mind again without warning. It's her, and she comes rolling on through like waves. I see the one in you radiate. Why wait for the land all gone and gone? Devastate. You get so dark. Does her voice light in you somewhere that I can never sing? 'Cause she comes rolling on through like waves. I see the one in you radiate. Why wait for the land all gone and gone? Devastate. Our home, these walls, you could level it all. You have it in you, and it's enough. When she comes rolling on through like waves, to see the one in you radiate. It was already land all gone and gone. Devastate. A swarm of sparrows rising over a cane field. Hearts are sent like that, breathless and full of question. My love's got a bad sense of direction. The jaw and lift a jaw and lift of hearts and chest of in and out and out and out of love again. A string of horses racing along a crooked fence line. Hearts run like that, breathless and full of question. My love's got a bad sense of direction. The jaw and lift the jaw and lift of hearts and chest of in and out and out and in and out of love again. The jaw and lift the jaw and lift of hearts and chest of in and out and out and in and out of love again. Sunset, the sky gets pink and bruised over canyon lakes, the same color of heart aches and falling. It's the closest to flying I believe we'll ever get. We'll ever get. The jaw and lift the jaw and lift of hearts and chest of in and out and out and in and out of love again. So glad so many of y'all are here tonight. I like to make a lot of new friends at once. Usually that happens at the CD merch table back there, where I meet my new friends. I met this guy once in Tampa, Florida, named Tiger Bill, and I'd never met him before. He walked up to the merch table and he said, "Hi, I'm Tiger Bill," and he was like a hippie in Tampa, and he had sandals and a Hawaiian shirt, and this is on the radio, right? He smelled like flowers, herbal flowers. And he said, "I brought you something." I said, "Sweet." And so he thrust across the table this crumpled up bag.
And I said, thank you so much, Tiger Bill. I'm so glad that we're friends. And, you know, some people bring you wine, some people bring you books. Anyway, so I opened this bag because he was insistent about it, and I looked down into the bag, and there was claws and teeth and fur and what looked to be like dried blood or maybe dirt. And I said, thank you so much, Tiger Bill. That's what you do. You say thank you. And, he said, it's not what you think. And I said, I know. And he said, if you throw any of it away, which is fine, you should at least keep the whiskers and the claws, because they're going to make you bulletproof. And I was like, man, he's really on the flowers.
On the flowers. I like that. That's a new one. Sir, you are on the flowers.
Anyway, lots of people bring us wine and books and bits of animals. People usually hurl Amazon gift cards our way. Never happened. I'm kidding. Friendship is enough for us. So Tiger Bill gave me a tiger claw from a real Siberian tiger paw. He said, this'll make you bulletproof. So I've got this tiger claw from this real Siberian tiger paw in my pocket. And I'm thinking now, could I really somehow be bulletproof? And I'm thinking now, could I really somehow be bulletproof? Does bulletproof include bows and arrows, hatchets and hammers, bandoliers full of ammo, anything from hacksaws to hand grenades? 'Cause we could set me up in my granddad's pasture and have ourselves a live target practice. Try out the throwing stars, bring out your switchblades. And maybe folks would line up, show up armed, excited for a person to try their weapons out on it. We could charge money. We could charge a whole lot of money. And I'm thinking now, could I really somehow be bulletproof? And I'm thinking now, could I really somehow be bulletproof? Against you shotgunning across my mind, and I've taken you back too many times. Could I be armored against you too? Against all the ways that words cut through, against promises breaking into open wounds and the resulting scars. And I'm thinking now, could I really somehow be bulletproof? And I'm thinking now, could I really somehow be bulletproof? And I'm thinking now, could I really somehow be bulletproof? And I'm thinking now, could I really somehow be bulletproof? Thanks again. I'm Amanda Shires. This is Stephanie Dickinson, and this is Jason Isbell. We'll see y'all again later. church like a yellow hammer, to have a crackle's gate, to wander marigold blossoms, feather and flower bay, like the trees grew for standing, and they stand for me, like the trees grow branches, and they stand for me. I wanna look like a bird, says her wings and split the sky. I wanna look like a bird, like I know what it is to fly, like I don't care or agree, like I never been drunk on wine, to look like a bird, weightless in the world, and careless on the vine. Like a bird, stare raven, cold, mean, night hawk, night birds, they see through everything, like I don't care or agree, like I never been drunk on wine, to look like a bird, weightless in the world, and careless on the run, like a bird, 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 like a bird. Thank you so much.
Amanda Shires. Amanda Shires, everybody. Thank you, Jason. It's great as always, my friend. Good to see you. It's great. Thank you. Let's hear it for Amanda Shires. Ah, Keith, what a night, huh?
Boy,
Are you folks
no
having
kidding.
fun?
Great talent walks
Great.
across the stage tonight.
Great.
I like your new song, too.
Thank you, Keith.
That you played at the
Thank
head
you.
of the show.
I appreciate
That's
that.
all I'm going to say about that. Well, we always ask that you support our friends and our sponsors because they support us. They allow us to do our thing and bring your music in fresh and innovative ways, which is why we're so proud to have Nissan as one of our sponsors. Innovation is what Nissan is all about. Not only does Nissan support Music City Roots, they also support a variety of other artistic endeavors throughout the community. As Music City Roots continues to shake things up in the world of music, Nissan's doing the very same thing in the automotive world. Just recently, Nissan unveiled the all-new Altima, Pathfinder, and Sentra. And this spring, remember when the new Versa Note came out? Yeah, that's a big hit. Nissan's new hatchback. Nissan's local motto of Nashville Proud's never been more timely and appropriate. Not only are their vehicles innovative, their relationship with this great city grows deeper each and every day. We hope you'll check out Nissan on Facebook and become friends with them. Just search Nissan to join the community and find out more about their upcoming models and boundary-pushing innovations. Thank you from us, and thank you from Nissan. Hey guys and gals, we want to remind you that French's Boots is your headquarters this summer for the best deals on Justin boots and more. French's can outfit you from your head to the heel of your classic Justin brand boots or Justin Gypsies for the ladies at the best prices you will find anywhere. Step out in style with a great selection of jeans, shirts, hats. Let them custom fit you with a pair of Justin Western or Justin Gypsy boots that you've always wanted. Go downtown on 2nd Avenue, one of the prettiest boot stores I've ever seen in my life. They've got everything in there, and they can fix you up. Go down there with your little Christmas wish list, and you can fill it out right there in one store. All across Tennessee, you'll find French's Boots. It just makes good sense to shop at French's. Check out MusicCityBoots.com and click on Justin Brand Boots. And would like to give a shout out to our friends at Digitech, the official office equipment provider here at Music City Roots. Just take a look at those beautiful programs for a sample of their quality. You can find them at digitechllc.com. Well, I think Amanda has caught her breath, and she's over with Craig now in the chat room. What's going on, Craig?
Let's chat here. One more time for Amanda Shires. Jason Isbell's going to join us here. Thank you for coming out. Of course, you live in town now, right?
Yes, sir.
You're a Nashvilleian for a few years, but a long way from Texas. How does Texas stay in your soul, in your heart? How loyal do you feel to that place that?
I'm so loyal that I still, after living here a few years, I refuse to learn any way around. I follow the GPS. Like, I'm going to continue to be a Texan because I don't know my way around.
But Lubbock, you're covered. You
Yeah.
can find your way.
It's really a little town in Lubbock.
So, speaking of this journey, I mean, you really rooted in country music. You played fiddle with the Texas Playboys and, the new version of that great old swing band. Now you're doing a very ethereal, interesting, modern kind of music. Did you see that distance back then? Did you want to sort of burst out, really try new things, or in these last couple albums, has it surprised you a little bit, the colors and textures you're messing with?
I feel like as a child or a teenager learning, I was still 14, 15. I had no frontal lobe development. I didn't see what anything was going to do. I don't have any ESP, or I would be awesome at predictions. But I don't know. I just play music, and it just happens how it happens.
Well, that Carrying Lightning record seems like a few things must have clicked up here. Like, you wanted a different texture. It got a lot of attention from a new realms of people. And looking back on that record, was it pivotal for you stylistically?
Maybe so. I just felt like learning the language of how to describe what you're hearing in your brain. Like, I want it to sound like this is kind of a tough thing to learn, but if you get in a studio pretty regularly and around people that know a lot about gear and microphones and how to translate, I want it to sound, fuller or dirtier or more like, peanut butter sandwich, say I want it to sound more like peanut butter and jelly. They kind of know what that means. And
a new language of music.
yes, and I think that once you start learning that language, you're able to get what you hear in your brain out onto a recording.
Awesome. So, of course, another great chapter here, Mr. Isbell.
Hey there.
You and your life, and it's just been awesome. Congratulations. This is still pretty new marriage. And what's it been like to work together? Y'all's music is pretty different when you play, what you do on stage and on your records, but what's it been like, the collaborative part?
It's a whole lot of fun. I spent a lot of my life trying to pair up with a civilian, as we say, somebody who wasn't part of the music business at all. And it didn't work out very well because I really like to be able to just pick up an instrument around the house and play music with whoever happens to be there. And I don't really let too many people in the house. So it's nice to have her there to pick up a fiddle and play. Professionally, we get along real well. I think if we both played guitar or if we both played fiddle, we'd be in serious trouble. But the fact that I play a rhythm instrument and she plays a lead instrument, as my granddad used to say, makes it all work out in the end.
What about writing together? You bounce ideas off, co-write directly?
We don't really co-write much. We've done that a time or two, but for the most part, we have to set a time to separate, because if we don't do that, we'll just hang out together watching movies all day.
Yeah.
And then we'll...
But sometimes I say, is this a good idea or not?
Yeah, and we edit together, too. We do a lot of that. There's not as much need for the intelligent stranger anymore, because we can bounce stuff off of each other and get honest feedback from that, which sometimes can be, it can hurt your feelings pretty bad if your wife thinks that your song's stupid. But it's better for her to think it's stupid than everybody else in the world.
very candid. Well, y'all have had a cool year too, in that you've found. Every time I've turned on public radio in the last year, it seems like I've heard one or both of you in big and wonderful interviews, and y'all have been able to tell your story. And you had a couple of hard years and broke your finger, and all this has been just a cool tale. What's it been like to tell this story to so many people, and to feel like you're helping shining light on this little piece of roots music and songwriting in Nashville? It's kind of cool.
I like to tell stories, for one, but I couldn't be any more happy or proud to be doing the job that I have. I'm grateful every time I get to play any kind of music. What do you think?
I think it's really nice that the kind of music that we play is having a bit of a renaissance right now.
Yeah.
We'd be doing it even if nobody was listening to it, but it's really nice that you can actually go out and there's big crowds for things like this, and when we go out on tour, we get good groups of people listening to us, and I think it's a good time to be making roots music. And as far as the public radio thing goes, yes, please donate to public radio as much as possible, because we like to eat, and your normal, commercial radio stations aren't feeding the two of us very well. So please donate to public radio as much as possible.
And Amanda, did I read that you're studying prose writing, fiction? Did you?
Yeah, poetry at Sewanee.
Poetry at Sewanee.
I switched. I was doing what you were saying, but I switched to poetry.
Talk about what led you there and what kind of insights you're getting that maybe songwriting hadn't shown you before, or how it's working for you.
Well, I think what I wanted to do my intention when I went to school was just to get better at writing, studying the words, learn how to be more precise, have more tools for the toolbox, as they say. And I just love language, and I just want to be better at it. And I think education never hurt anybody, really. And the interesting thing about how I decided on that school is a couple of years ago we were driving back from a gig, and he was like, "That school, Sewanee, is really good." By he, I mean he. And I was like, "Oh, cool." And he was like, "They teach writing, they have a school of letters." And so I went home and I looked at it online, and I, filled out the application, and
next thing you know,
they accepted me for some reason.
Okay.
So, I don't know, whatever. I'm there.
Well, that's part of your journey too. So good luck with that.
Thank you. I'm almost done.
Fantastic. Amanda Shires and Jason Isbell, we appreciate you being
Thanks,
here.
y'all.
All right. I'll take that. Thank you. So let's have some more music, and I think Keith Bilbrey's going to talk at you next.
I'm just going to tell you, you're listening to Nashville's Hippie Radio, WHPY, Bellevue, Nashville, 94.5. Hippie Radio, Music City Roots. Right now, I'd like to introduce a man who didn't even know a ladybug was an insect until this week. There's Jim Lauderdale. They're
Thank you,
everywhere.
Keith. Thank you. Well, folks, we're so proud to have this influential and exciting band return to our stage. Formed in 1989 in Boulder, Colorado, they carved out new terrain and roots music and offered thousands of music fans an enticing gateway into bluegrass. There have been some trials and changes over the years, but since returning to the road and to the studio with the great album Aquatic Hitchhiker, these guys have revived the spirit that sets so many feet moving and heads swirling. Put your hands together for Leftover Salmon.
Floating in the slipstream, we're trying to make sense of this life. We're drifting in and out of dreams, rolling on with all my mind. The highway leading me on. One goes on forever, the other
Drew Emmett on the guitar, singing, making them up.
Thank you. Is this on? Is this on? All right.
We've been on the road for 23 years doing this leftover salmon thing. It's good to still be on, isn't it? I'll tell you. Well, here's one about getting up and getting out on days like this. Wasn't it just been a beautiful day? God, makes it good to be live in Tennessee. Woo! There's one about getting out, getting to the country. It's a good day to do a little traveling. It's a good time to get up and gone. Get out your house, get on your planet. Check out the rocket we're rolling on. Check out the wheel we're riding on. Well, sometimes your house can feel like a prison. You got too much to do, too much to pay. You're wondering why you can't find a reason. That's the time you better get away. That's the time you gotta get away. Sometimes a river, sometimes a rain. Sometimes it's the whistle of the evening train. Sometimes a mountain, sometimes the sea. They're gonna get you back to where you wanna be, and they'll get you back to who you wanna be. In that daily living, well, you can't find a way now to take it slow. You better use the time that you're given. Yeah, back at the door, now get up and go. Get out the door, now get up and go. Sometimes a river, sometimes a rain. Sometimes it's the whistle of the evening train. Sometimes a mountain, sometimes a sea. They're gonna get you back to where you wanna be, and they'll get you back to who you wanna be. So get out the door, get on the take a little walk out on the shore. Cause it's a big wide world that we call home. It's a big wide world that we call home. Sometimes a river, sometimes a rain. Sometimes it's the whistle of the evening train. There it is. Sometimes a mountain, sometimes the sea. They're gonna get you back to who you wanna be, and they'll get you back to who you wanna be. Well, it's a good day to do a little traveling. It's a good time to get up and go. Thank you. Good day to be traveling, yes indeed. We're lucky enough to get to travel around the country, and man, this time of year it's just so beautiful. But this fellow over here on the banjo from the great state of North Carolina, make him welcome Mr. Andy Thorne. Andy's living out there in Colorado now, and I think he's got a target of 100 days of skiing this year, and he's going to get it.
60.
60?
Let's be realistic here.
Oh, come on now.
You never know.
He loves that Colorado high country, and here's a song about it. Yes. I wanna be in the high country, high there's a place that you can go. When hard times fall all around, there's something you should know. I wanna be in a high country all day. Sing it with us. I wanna be in a high country to stay. What do you say we keep it going with the bird call? What do you say? Thank you.
Hey, you know what? How about another serving? Another serving. Yeah.
Give it up for Dr. Greg Garrison on the bass. The Mayor McCheese sitting in tonight. Alvin Robinson on the drums. This fellow over here on the mandolin grew up just around the corner from here, over on Hester Beasley Road. And here's a song he wrote about it. Is that what it's about, Drew?
Pretty much. I left out the squirrel hunting part, though.
Bring your own squirrel in.
Way down in Iowa, where the wild red tails fly, and the oaks and the sycamore reach up to the sky. The young river winds clear out our sight. Oh, back to a time on a cold southern night. sycamores reach up to the sky. The old river was clear out of sight. Back to the time on a southern night. Back to a time on a southern night.
Oh, yeah. That's how it's done, ladies and gentlemen. Leftover salmon. Leftover salmon, everybody. Now, don't leave yet because everybody's coming up for the Loveless Jam, so stick around.
We're going to get to everybody's ready for the drawing, and you've assembled such an adorable little cast.
Yes,
I think we'll just get to it. We don't want them to be distracted.
Okay, you want to do the drawing? Colonel Littleton here. Got your very own microphone.
On tonight? All right.
We trust you a lot.
All right. If you've got your name in the pot, you're going to be a winner. And I've got 3 young ladies here tonight, and they're from West Virginia, and their daddy is serving in the military. So let's give the girls a hand.
Yeah.
All right. And all right. I have Ashley. No. Ashley's holding the bag. I've got Sarah in the middle, and Brooke here, and Brooke is Brooke with no E, she told me. So
Brooke with no E.
Brooke with no E.
Got it.
All right. So I'm going to have, you're going to draw, right, Brooke? Okay.
Okay.
So you'll hold it open for her.
Here we go.
And
Drum
reach in
roll,
there.
please.
Brooke, give me one. You got one? Okay. Now you give that to here to Sarah. And Sarah's going to give it to me. And we got a drum roll, and you're going to read.
I love it when we have a drum roll. That's just the coolest thing in the world. And the winner is Brian Matthews from somewhere, Tennessee.
That's right. Where's Brian?
Brian
Brian?
Matthews. Brian, are you with us? Where's Brian?
Hi, Brian.
There he is, right there.
Brian, meet us over at the booth, if you will. All right.
Yes, sir.
Thank y'all very much.
Hamilton booth.
And thanks to the girls. All right, girls.
Claim your
you go.
prize.
There's your name.
Well, everybody, it's been an awesome night of music. Thanks for being part of it. We want to say thanks to the artists. The Blackstone Brewery lineup tonight was spectacular. Leftover Salmon, of course, Amanda Shires, Sturgill Simpson, and Daniel Romano, both bringing some great country music. Jonathan Scales, Orchestra. Let's hear it one more time for everybody that contributed to tonight's music. That's what we're about, is performances like that. Next week, I'm happy to tell you that it's a little later in the year than usual, but we're back for the 3rd annual Guitar Night at Music City Roots. And we're going to hear from a cat who's moved here to town pretty recently, and he's been playing at the Foo Bar and playing at the Poorhouse and you got to hear him. He's an unbelievable guitar player. His name is Jim Oblon. He'll be part of next week's show. We're going to hear from, in the sort of the new acoustic side of things, Ethan Ballinger, who's part of Missy Raines and the New Hips band. He's played on the stage, but he'll be here as a featured artist covering a little country jazz territory. We're going to hear from David Anderson, who plays every day down at the Country Music Hall of Fame. We're going to get him where we get to actually pay attention to his music from the beginning to the end of the song. And curating this night with us, as always, the great Guthrie Trapp, coming back. And, it's a big night because it looks like the Boston Red Sox are on their way to winning a World Series, and somewhere Sam Bush is a little bit sad. Yeah. That is the only bad thing about the Cardinals losing the World Series. But it's not quite over yet. It's 6-1 in the 7th inning. So we'll get you done, and then we'll go watch some baseball.
There you go. Well, we'd also like to thank our sponsors, French's Shoes and Boots. Of course, the Loveless Cafe, Old Smoky Moonshine, that's Myra's favorite, Griffin Technology, Nissan North America, Star 129 Diamond, Vietti Chili, Ascent Federal Credit Union, and the Nature Conservancy. And we'd like to also thank we got some folks from the Nature Conservancy here tonight. Yeah, we'd like to thank all the gang at Sound Image for taking such great care of the live sound here in the barn. You'll find these guys on tour with just about anybody who's anybody, with offices from Los Angeles to Nashville. If you need professional sound, large or small, just take a look at sound-image.com. They're very proud to be a sponsor of our final segment when all of our guest artists who Jim just mentioned have returned to the stage for the Loveless Jam, where you encourage all the musicians to stretch out on a favorite song. And to find out what that song's going to be, once again, Grammy Award-winning singer, songwriter, all-around great guy. Have I stretched enough?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've been waiting.
Jim Lauderdale!
Oh, thank you, Keith. Thank you. Keith, I'm wearing my special shroom shirt tonight.
I like that, yeah.
I've been eating them all night. I just pick them off, and so I'm stuffed. But anyway,
Stuffed mushroom.
We are going to do a song tonight in honor of the late Lou Reed.
Yeah, there you go.
Standing in the corner, suitcase in my hand, Jack's in his corset, Jill's in a vest. Me, I'm in a rock and roll band.
Riding in a Stutz Bearcat Jim, those are different times. The poets, they studied rules of verse, and those ladies rolled their eyes. Sweet Jane, sweet Jane, sweet Jane, sweet Jane.
Now Jack is a banger, little Jane baby is a flirt. And Moses said my name when they come home to work.
Sitting there by the fire, radio plays classic music there. March the wooden soldier, and you can Jack say,
Sweet Jane, sweet Jane, sweet Jane, sweet Jane. Yeah, some people like to go out dancing when they get home from work. Ah, you know that there's always some evil mothers tell you that life is just for dirt. And all the women, they never really faint. And all the villains always blink their eyes. And the children are the only ones who blush. And then they say that life is just to die. Yeah, but anyone who had a heart, you know, he wouldn't want to turn around and break it. Anybody who ever played a part, oh, you know they gotta turn around and play it. Sweet day, sweet day, sweet day, sweet day.
Music City Roots, yeah. Maybe dance all night long. They got old Jim of Lauderdale, all singing them country music songs, yeah. They got all kind of music going on, yeah. Like Lou Reed always did believe. Lou Reed's gonna live forever. Oh, this song will never leave. Hey, Sweet Jane, Sweet Jane, Sweet Jane, Sweet Jane, Sweet Jane, Sweet Jane, yeah, yeah. Sweet Jane, 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 Sweet Jane,
Music City Roots is a production of Hang Die Media. Executive producers John Walker and Todd Mayo would like to thank technical director Randy Hale for his hard work keeping an eye on all the technology behind the scenes, and associate producer Eric Martin for all their extra work by rewiring the beloved Roots M50 bus. And of course, big thanks to all our friends at Hippie Radio. We'd like not to forget to join me for Roots Radio Hour tomorrow night and every weekday at 7 p.m., except for Wednesdays, of course, when we'll explore the roots of Americana and rock for hippies of all ages. Hippie Radio 94.5 on your FM dial. We're glad you joined us this week for Music City Roots, live from the Loveless Cafe. I'm Keith Bilbrey, and from the edge of Music City, good night.
Hang Die.